total dick.
Julia?
Dick's voice is grating on my nerves and snaps me out of the task of trying to count every single polka dot on the dress of the woman sitting behind him right now. I veer my gaze a fraction of a hair back over to his, and I can tell he's noticed that I wasn't paying the slightest bit of attention to him. Hell, I wasn't even bothering with the aforementioned occasional nod this time. I must have gone straight into self-preservation mode over the utter boredom I've been feeling during this date. No need to panic, because along with having the talent of pretending to be interested, I also possess the talent of covering my tracks. Oh, so casually, I smile at Dick and grab my wine glass for a quick sip. All the while, his eyes never leave mine, watching and waiting to see what I'm going to say. Now, I can play this one of two ways. One, pretend I know exactly what he was talking about and take the chance that whatever lie flies out of my mouth will fit perfectly within the conversation he was having with himself while I was busy with Polka Dot Lady. Or two, admit to not paying any kind of attention to him. This second choice is tricky and can have a high risk of coming back to bite you in the ass, but if played correctly, you can get sympathy from your date instead of being insulted, which, if he had any clue, is exactly how he should be feeling. I have about a half a second to decide as I bring the glass of Merlot down from my lips and set it back on the table. I'm sorry, Dick. I have to stifle a laugh. It still cracks me up. I've been so busy with work, and this is the first night I've had off in about a week. I'm just so stressed and can't help it if it seems like my mind is elsewhere. I'm sorry. Pitch perfect. His brown eyes soften slightly, and his head tilts to the left in that sympathetic look reserved for funerals or sick puppies. In a condescending tone, he says in response,
Julia, I've told you before you shouldn't be working yourself so hard.
My spine stiffens and I sit upright. He wanted my attention? Well, now he's got it. For the record, I love my job. Not many people can honestly say they love what they do, but I can. I run an event planning business that used to belong to my father until he had a health scare and retired a few years ago. He had been grooming me since college so that one day I could take over the company, and I'm proud to report that it's doing better than ever. Maybe it's the independent woman in me or my strong-willed personality, but I take offense to Dick's comment. I put down my fork and sweep my blunt blonde bangs away from my forehead. They cascade right back into place as if I hadn't done a damn thing to move them. Carefully, I forge ahead. And what does that mean, exactly? How can I not work too hard when I own the company? The fate of my employees rests on the sole fact that I do work hard to ensure they get a paycheck every other week. He puts his hands up in defense while chuckling. Ugh. I instantly regret selecting option number 2. I should have just played dumb when I had the chance.
Julia, that's not what I meant. I simply meant that when you work too hard, you don't get to enjoy the other things in life. Like this.
He motions his hand between us to drive his point home that he means us. Is he shitting me? There is no us. I'd rather watch paint dry than be here on this date with him. Thankfully, the waiter comes before I can respond, and he asks if we need anything else. Dick doesn't even ask me. Instead, he tells the waiter to bring the check. Normally, this would bug the hell out of me since it's another pet peeve to add to Dick's ever-growing list of cons. But tonight I'm glad he did it because it means I'm that much closer to never having to see him again. After he signs the check, which he makes a big deal out of since the final tally of our dinner is somewhere above the $100 mark, I stay silent and just put on a tight smile when we walk to his car. The drive back to my house is even worse. He blasts Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing over the speaker system the whole way home. Seriously, I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. And it's right then that I have a moment of clarity, an epiphany, if you will. Why am I putting myself through the torture of another date that never goes anywhere? I'm not a conceited person by any stretch of the imagination. I think I'm halfway decent in the looks department, pretty goddamn funny, and successful enough in my own right that I could afford several dinners that this prize just paid for on my behalf, like he was doing me a favor.